Welcome to the Homegrown Haven. There's a few generations of us living here, all under one roof. Well, mostly. We are renovating our 3-bedroom bungalow, room by room, and learning as we go. We've just finished building an annex out the side of the bungalow, which is now home to my grandma. It's given her space, independence, and still keeps her right at the heart of everything we're doing here. And then there's the land, about an acre that we're turning into a proper kitchen garden. The goal is simple: grow more of our own food, waste less, and figure things out as we go. It's not always smooth, and it's definitely not for everyone, but it works for us. If you're into renovations, gardening, or just curious about a different way of living, you're in the right place.
Well, hello. Welcome back to another week on the Homegrown Haven. I'd like to thank everybody for all the comments that I seem to have stirred up regarding compost. It's a fascinating subject, and I went to my local gardening club last night, and there was a lady giving a talk she started as a 15-year-old at Highgrove. Fascinating talk about the wonderful gardens she's worked in. But the bone of contention and all the questions were about compost and how the latest iterations of it simply aren't up to par. And she openly admitted that we are struggling. The professional gardeners, I don't include myself in that, are struggling with the latest. And she had her own suggestions, and I won't mention them here. But it's a fascinating subject. So yeah, thank you for all the suggestions and comments. I have two issues on the kitchen garden right now. One is these blackbirds, and again, thank you for all the suggestions. I went online on our favourite delivery company, others are available, and looked at these plastic owls and peregrine falcons and then the kite things that fly about. And then you look down at the comments, and it's got a picture of a pigeon sat on top of one of these plastic owls saying they don't work, and then this flyaway bird on a kite that had flown away, the string had broken, it had gone. I think I'm just going to stick to chasing them around at 6 o'clock in the morning, which I have been doing, and they're so persistent, I mean, their lives depend on it, don't they? They've got to find food. Anyway, those are the two issues, and they're, in the bigger scheme of things, I will find a way. I have to say, the blackbirds, they are a real nuisance. They're picking out all the wood chip and throwing them across the beds, and they're picking out all the soil and throwing it onto the paths. So my nice neat edges are slowly but surely blurring into one mess. But I am a persistent chap. Anyway, they're the two issues. They're not over. They will be a constant war of attrition. But there's better news on the plot as always. Everything is going very well. We're set for a couple of very nice days, up around 20 degrees C. And as always, I walk around here with a smile on my face, almost a skip in my step. And I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing. So let's have a little look around at what's going on. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But that's enough about me. Here's a job I've started doing this morning. I've got 7 or 8 dahlias along the heads of each bed, hoping for a bit of colour and some cut flower in the summer. And before they get too high, I just put a small frame of canes and some string around, because dahlias can have a tendency to flop, and we are quite exposed to stiff winds here. So that's the first one I've done. I shall do more, and each one of them will have its own frame by the time they get really growing. I've mentioned them before, but these new fruit trees in the little orchard continue to give me immense pleasure with their young blossom, but I'm going to find it a very difficult task to pick off the young fruit as they develop in their first year. That'll happen in early summer, I guess, but it's got to be done because these branches just cannot withstand full-size fruit. As opposed to this beauty, which I'm hoping will be laden again. These 2 blackcurrant bushes came with me from the allotment, of course, as did the rhubarb. and they're looking good. Not only have they withstood the transplanting very well, but it looks like I'm going to get a fairly decent crop of fruit. Talking of blackcurrants, these are the cuttings I took, and they really are coming on fantastic. The roots coming out the bottom of the pot. I'm thinking I'll still leave them till the end of the summer before I take them out and put them in the ground, but I couldn't be happier with them. They've got fruit on. I'll be picking them. My 42 Charlotte potatoes are all up, all accounted for, and developing nicely. I think they got a little tinge of damage from a very light frost we got this week, but I'm more than happy with their progress. Yeah, there's a little bit of damage. I don't think it's terminal. I shall soon start earthing them up, so to speak, with the grass cuttings that I'm collecting. And because of these new raised beds with their high sand content, for the first time in my vegetable growing career, short as it is, I direct sowed my parsnip seeds. In fact, on that one there you can see the parsnip seed on the end, the tip of one of the leaves. I put 3 parsnip seeds per station, and I've had really good germination. Really pleased with that. So much stronger than the carrots. So I've got to again bite the bullet and pick out 2 of the 3 and let the others develop. So really pleased with the parsnips. The last 2 stepovers that I've got to create are developing nicely. Lots of young fresh growth to train. Won't be doing that for a couple of weeks, or at least I shouldn't have thought. But if it looks across the path, it has an excellent example of what it's supposed to look like. I think they're so attractive and productive. Everything you want in a kitchen garden. And very happy with my new brassica cages. So far so good, nothing's got caught inside. Those little clips that hold the net down seem to be working. Couldn't be happier so far. Talking of attractive and productive, my broad beans, they look fantastic. Some of them are now growing beyond their support, so this ground has never grown vegetables in its long history. So there's no black fly around, but they will eventually find these broad beans, so I shall be nipping out the tips of these to discourage them. But I come along every day with my brew, and I've now seen the first beans set. Absolutely thrilling, never tire of seeing that. Nature is a wonderful thing. And more on that, these lovely little pears which form behind the flower heads of the blossom. They're starting to swell now. And again, this is only a 2-year-old tree, so maybe I'll leave 1 or 2 on, but mostly they'll have to come off. But it is wonderful to watch them develop. Of course, they may drop off naturally in June. Well, the great hardening off has begun. Those are in the middle, tomato, tumbling tom. The 2 outside are crimson plum. Those are leeks. They're not hardening off, they're just, I don't think they really appreciate the heat of the greenhouse, so I'm leaving them to grow on outside. There's a solitary dahlia there. That pot had a dahlia in that was in one of the large pots by the front of the house, and I think it's rotted off, but rather than just chuck it away, I've put it in there. If nothing comes of it, I'll throw it on the compost heap. And then here are all the replacement and first sowings of pumpkins of various descriptions, a butternut squash and courgettes. The 2 courgettes I'm growing are all green bush. I like that because, as the name suggests, it doesn't sprawl, it stays in one place but still produces an abundance of courgettes. And then the yellow ones, Soleil, always a little slower to get started, but they are lovely courgettes. So yeah, every morning out, every evening back in the greenhouse. I shall do that probably for another 2 weeks, I guess, before these go out. Trying so hard to be patient after my initial impetuous putting out of the courgettes that disappeared. And again in the greenhouse, it's all systems go. These are the very young moneymaker tomatoes that will be staying in here. The pelargoniums or geraniums, they're doing okay. Again, I think it's an issue of compost. There's no goodness in that stuff. And I have planted some out. More cosmos, lettuce. Again, I've got very good, even though I say so myself, at the successional sowing. We've got lots of peas on the go, and as we plant them I sow more. Beetroot, radish, onions, spring onions. I've got 3, 4 or more successional sowings on the go. So again, that comes down to having the time. There's some dahlias there that we bought recently that I'm hoping will show signs of growth soon. I'm having a problem with runner beans, and of course it's still very early to have runner beans growing, but I'm on my 2nd sowing, and of these pots each pot had 2 beans in, and I had 2 pots where 1 bean came up, the others didn't come up, and when I tipped out the compost, the beans had completely disappeared, rotted away. It may be it's my old seeds that I've saved. Anyway, I've resown these pots of runner beans, and we'll see. The bell peppers are doing okay, and then out here I've moved from the house some of the cucumbers, courgettes, and butternuts. Those are the Romanesco. They are coming on alright actually. And then along here, if I can move round, you will see this week I've put up my cucumber and tomato frame, and indeed I've planted a cucumber, the tomato plant I bought, and then 5 Shirley tomato plants that I sowed quite early on in the year, and then the shop bought basil, and then Lollo Rosso lettuce, spring onions, and the garlic that was put in last year. It's all coming on very nicely in here. I'm very happy with the progress. Our 4th sowing of beans look fantastic. Yeah, couldn't be happier with how this greenhouse is developing. And at some point these benches or tables have got to come out to make way for more tomatoes to go in on that side. In the fruit cage, again, it all looks fantastic. I've got those lettuce in there as a sort of a catch crop, but the yellow raspberries that were given to me by a neighbour look good. Strawberries are doing okay. The blueberries look good. And for some reason, I think it's because of the length of sun in this bed, these strawberries get more sun than the other 2 beds. They've got a lot more flowers on. Fruit is on its way. Yeah, very happy. This is an old polystyrene box that I got from a farm shop. It's about 6 inches deep, and those are elephant leeks that are starting to germinate. And I think that's the answer. Those leeks are going to develop in much deeper soil, and I'm hoping will develop better and stronger plants because of it. I will keep you abreast of the developments. They're taunting me. won't even think about it. He's thinking about it. Oh, there we go. First one's moved back in. I've just chased them off and they're back on. Excuse me one moment. Well, growing fruits and vegetables means I spend a lot of time staring at the soil. Our neighbours must think I'm a lunatic. Every now and again, you reap the reward. There is a runner bean, directly sown. Never done that before. I usually grow them in pots and then plant them out. Let's hope that's the first of a few. But it's lovely to see and I never tire of it. Right, might give them a touch of water. Well, I think gardening, and particularly growing fruit and veg, is all about trying to use what you've got. I've got 42 Charlotte salad potatoes growing here, and they're starting to make a move up. They're going to need earthing up, and I don't have the soil or the compost to do that. So what am I going to use? One thing we have a lot of here is grass, and I haven't put any of the grass cuttings from this spring's mowing in the compost bays. I've just piled it here, and I'm going to attempt to earth up those potatoes with this. I have a sneaky suspicion the Blackbirds are going to ruin it, but I'm going to try it anyway. Well, 2 minutes into the plan and I've spotted my first problem, and it's not Blackbirds. Those grass clippings are red hot. And if I put them on as they are, I'm just going to burn the plants. So I'm going to fill the wheelbarrow, let it cool a bit, and I'm also going to open up this heap a bit and let some of the heat out. Adapt, improvise and overcome. Well, we'll see how that works. I've never done it before. I simply don't have the soil to earth them up anyway. And now they're all, bar the last couple, netted. There's a couple on the far end the netting doesn't reach. And I'm going to leave them exposed to see what the Blackbirds do, although it's fairly predictable. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm looking at what's going to go in the rest of the beds. And I think I'm going to have spare ground. So, excuse the rush hour traffic. The world is now waking up. I've got these 2 bits of netting that I brought from the allotment, and I've got more brassicas. I've got the Romanesco cauliflower, I've got some cabbage to go in, and I'm going to sow more broccoli. So I'm going to make some fashion of a cage out of these bamboo canes and those mushroom caps. Whether I do it now or later, I don't know, but I can't put the brassicas out unprotected. They won't last a day. But I'm fairly happy with that. We'll see if it works. Well, I've been reminded this morning why I don't direct sow. I pointed out the sheer joy of seeing a seedling breaking the ground. And the leaf was there yesterday morning, and this morning I came along, it's been bitten off and just discarded. Whatever did it didn't even have the good courtesy to eat it. Why would you do that? It's not just people that are bloody minded, it's animals as well. Anyway, there's more coming up there and there, so I assume tomorrow morning I'll come down and find them nipped off. We shall see. Anyway, I've got more runner bean seeds in pots in the greenhouse, so all is not lost. On a more positive note, parsnips. What a complete success the direct sowing has been. We've added quite a lot of sand to this bed, although you can still see a lot of stones. This soil came from the groundworks for the home lodge, and then I've added sand to loosen it a bit. And then I put in, I know I've told you, I put in 3 parsnip seeds per station. And this row in particular, I mean, it's all very good, but every single row or station, parsnips have come up. Not only that, but in almost every case, all 3 have come up. This is a fickle business, isn't it? But yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. Gives me an immense amount of pleasure. Well, it's not as pretty as the Harrod horticulture frames, but it's just as functional. That's 8 Romanesco cauliflowers and 4 Cabisse cabbages. Watered in, netted. All I've got to do now is put a label in. 1st of May. Alright, we're going to the carrot beds. Hold tight. Here we go. Off you get. You've got to put the cardboard on there. You get all of this end. Hey, you're not helping much. Here we go. There. It needs to go in the middle. That's it. Right, we need another bit of cardboard. Now off. Another bit of cardboard. There's the cardboard. This is compost mix. Go on then. Run in! And I'm pleased to report, after I put this wire around the runner beans that I've direct sown, come down this morning and they're all intact. So I shall leave that wire in place for a while.
Oh, morning! Now he tells us. Got your shopping list? Yes.
Let me hope so. It'll take us a long enough to go back and get it.
Well, you can go back and get it, or I can.
No pressure, Carl. The previous 2 were perfect.
They actually were as well. Don't even need to look mine.
Go, careful.
What happened? I think you just buried one then in the middle.
More beginner's luck.
And then one just underneath there. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
We'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Experienced veteran at this now. Wow. Perfect.
Just call me Monty Don.
Very good.
Very good, thanks George.
Yes, push it. Yeah, so that it'll be leaning into the metal.
Go off there, mate. Yeah, yours is a better shot.
I know. I know.
Come on, George, off the bed.
Is
You
mummy
walk round them.
better, George?
George, yeah.
Say mummy's better. Yeah.
Oi. Shouldn't have favourites.
Gonna stick it on his head.
Ah, George.
I dare you.
Mucky.
You don't want to be wearing a white blouse round George. Cheryl and I go away in the caravan for a week, in a week's time. So I've got to make sure that everything is in a position where Charlotte can look after it during the week. So I'm going to start moving stuff out of the greenhouse and putting it in the ground where it will be able to look after itself. But the big job this week is I'm going to plant my main crop potatoes, or certainly some of them, maybe half of them, get them in the buckets. So that's my big job through the week. I might also plant out the Tumbling Tom tomatoes. They've been hardening off for a week or more now. And I think we've got some nighttime temperatures down to about 5 degrees, but they should be okay. We'll see. I'll have spares if there's a problem. So thanks for joining us here at the Homegrown Haven. Hopefully see you in a week's time. Bye for now.